the final part, I mean, it all comes thick and fast because I'm guessing pretty much after this, you're shooting off to Anfield because the 1:15 open training. There's even, I think it's 5:30 a slot on a player, isn't it? So it's going to be a busy day all round for this.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's quite good that we get to see the open training actually ahead of the Champions League. It's a little bit different and something that we don't get a taste of usually. So, and actually, Slot is not that good at kind of covering up what they were going to do. I mean, I remember before a couple of the group games, they actually trained in the shape and with the team that they were going to line up. So, always worth keeping an eye on it for that. So, we'll see if he give anything away ahead of this one, but I'm not sure he will really. Maybe he's got a little bit wise to that one, and they'll just do warm-ups. But yeah, always interesting to get down there and see these, and of course to hear what Arne Slot has to say ahead of the match as well.
Yeah, quite a lot to think about. And with the game and thinking about injuries and players back, this was a fact on Saturday. I did see Cody Gakpo at the hot walk. The only details I'm omitting there, he was driving past in his car. He wasn't in the lineup quite early doors. Any news or any hope that he could be back and we're going to see him in open training?
Yeah, I'm massively hopeful. I mean, the fact they took him to Paris, to me, I was amazed he wasn't back for Southampton on the back of that. But of course, if he misses Southampton off the back of that, you would think, it's just a case of, and the way it was put to me with this injury is, the moment it stops being painful, he will be straight back in the squad. So it's just a case of, if he wakes up this morning, it doesn't feel too bad, he'll be fine. And I think he's been doing some individual training this week. So hopefully we see him part of full training today. And that, of course, would be a boost because he's missed a few games now in this recent run, and he's massively important. And I think for PSG's man-to-man style as well, someone with his stature and physicality would be really, really helpful to have him back, even if it's just for 30 minutes at the end.
Yeah, would make a huge difference. And a few people were asking, so it's right for me to do the same. No expectation for Conor Bradley? Is that after the international break not going to make PSG?
Yeah, no, I'll be absolutely amazed if Conor's involved. That was stated as kind of a few weeks, so it would be a huge shock if he was there today.
Yeah, so hopefully Gakpo will be a big boost and no further injuries, touch wood. And I suppose you mentioned it earlier, we're looking back to the weekend. A lot of the midfielders only played 45 minutes, didn't they? And even Gravenberg, the only other senior one, he comes off near the end for Endo. With the rotations, with the subs that took place, do you think, are you looking at 4 midfielders for this one, or do you think it will be more the traditional 3 forwards in the line?
I think it's really, really tough to say, to be honest. I mean, he will know that it depends, doesn't it, on kind of what does he think was the most influential factor in Liverpool's performance over there? Was it the fact it's away from home, PSG just played really well? Or does he think that tactically he could have changed things at the start and that would have been the better thing? I'm really, really interested to see how he goes about that. But I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest decision is what he does up front. I just thought it just didn't look at any point like a game for Jota in the first leg. Now, are Liverpool going to have more of the ball? Are they going to have more of the ball on the deck? And is it going to be a case of if you're pushing PSG back, you've got possession, you need someone who's going to put the chance away 9 times out of 10, then you do start Jota. If you think it's going to be a case that they will turn up and play well and press you really hard again, and you're going to need an out ball, and it's going to be try and exploit their man-to-man, then it has to be Darwin Núñez. But that competition is tighter than ever, really. And you think of some of the lows that Núñez has had in this season. For me, it's I'm almost kind of tempted to say that he should be starting this game. So that's a really tough one. And again, we don't have as much kind of evidence on Arne Slot as we do on Jurgen Klopp, and so I find it really, really hard at the moment to kind of predict what he's going to do. So I am absolutely fascinated by what his selection looks like for this one, and he has to get it right because it's Liverpool are in a good position in that they're 1-0 up, but you don't want to give PSG any encouragement or impetus. And if Liverpool start the game well and can get themselves 1-0 up, then they've almost decided the tie already. So he's got to get this one right, hasn't he?
It is interesting. It's like, even from the PSG side, Luis Enrique was saying in his press conference that he'd rested a few for Lille, I think it was, they played, because someone talked about a bit of anxiety or he'd felt a sense of nerves, which he said, I wasn't happy with at all. We should be confident going into this one. Do you think for this, there'll be an element of, will PSG just go for what they went in the first leg? Or is it more a case of the Parc des Princes plays a part in that, and just under Anfield, under the lights, it's a different game altogether?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've seen a lot of the talk from the kind of French side of things over the last few days. I just think staggering, really. It's so close to that. You know, remember the famous Marca headline when Real Madrid came to Anfield a few years ago? You know, some stuff that's getting close to that, really, in terms of just the arrogance about it, really. And I just think, you know, it's all well and good saying all these things and being confident and saying that you don't fear Anfield and that you think you're going to batter Liverpool after getting, you know, losing the first leg. But when the reality hits them and that raw and Liverpool are just working with the crowd together and it's flying all over them, I think they're in for a really nasty surprise. And to be fair, if PSG come and they play like they did in the first leg, then wow, they for me should be favourites to the trophy if they can go on and get a win in that manner, because that isn't a huge task. But I think that the Anfield crowd's going to be the big leveler, and more than that, I think Liverpool are just going to play better as well. And then you add those two things in together, I think we'll see a worse version of PSG, and I think it's just going to be a totally different game, or I'm certainly hopeful of that fact. So yeah, I bookmarked a few bits and bobs from the PSG side, just out of just for posterity, basically, because I my view, I may be wrong about this, you know, often wrong, but I think it's going to be a totally different game, and I think we're going to see a better version of Liverpool, and I think they've got every chance of, you know, as much as PSG battered them in the first leg, I think Liverpool can do that to them.
Yeah, as much as there is young talent and there's rapid pace in this PSG side, it does lack a little bit of experience when you look at it for a lot of them in these later stages. And Anfield can humble anyone. So we will see what happens tomorrow night. So there we go, people. I never thought we'd be saying this on the 10th of March, but pretty much with the league wrapped up, it's just cup focus this time, isn't it? It's a European game and the first trophy of the season coming Sunday. So there's so much to look forward to. All it leaves me to say as ever is, David, for the time, the insight and the analysis, it is much appreciated.
Thank you.
And ladies and gents, that was another Media Matters for Anfield Index.